Going on, people? Welcome back to the channel for another stream. This is Stockholm Gunner. On Saturday we are playing against Aston Villa in a Villa Park, people. It is 12:30 kickoff UK time, and this is the match preview and my predicted starting 11. Now Aston Villa seriously are having a good season so far. I mean, they didn't start very brightly in the season, but however they have picked up some pace and they're winning games after another. And I think they kind of having a similar season like 2 years ago. I mean, 2 years ago they were absolutely brilliant. They were picking apart teams, they really were, and now it seems like they are picking apart teams as well. I mean, did you guys see the game they played against Brighton on Wednesday night? I mean, that game, seriously, that game, Aston Villa, what they did was amazing. That comeback they did, that was amazing, people. It was absolutely amazing. Now, Brighton was leading 2-0 in the first half. And Aston Villa went into their dressing room. They had a bit of a talk. They came back out, turned the whole game on its head, scored 4 goals, people. They scored 4 goals, and Brighton tried to get back into the game. They scored the 3rd goal, right? And then the last 10 minutes of that game, Brighton was chasing it just to get that equalizer, but they couldn't get the equalizer, people, and the game ended 3-4 for Aston Villa. Aston Villa are dangerous. They are a tricky customer, people. They really are. Now on Saturday we're going to play against them. It is an early kickoff, 12:30 kickoff UK time, and a lot of people are saying, you know what, Arsenal do not do very well in those early kickoffs. You know, in those early games we don't do well. I beg to differ. I really beg to differ. Seriously, I think basically that the boys have matured. They really have matured, and they have a couple of seasons under their belt. They came so close, 3 seasons in a row, so therefore they could handle this kind of stuff. I mean, it is football after all we are playing, right? And that's, it's not a different what time you play on the day. Simply you're playing football. You have to make sure that you go out there and perform. That's what it is basically, and I think the boys are more than capable of doing that whenever time they are playing. Now we played against Brentford on midweek. What was it, on Wednesday night? It was, yes. And that was a very comfortable game for Arsenal. It really was a very comfortable game for Arsenal, right? We had things under control majority of the time. Ball possession was very high, and we were basically picking apart Brentford whenever we wanted to, right? Nuno Madueke was having a good game early in the first half, and then he kind of dipped off in the second half. I mean, all the boys was having a good game. All the boys was having a good game, and we managed to win that game 2-0. Mikel Merino scoring the first goal for us with a header. I mean, this guy is so effective in front of the goal. He really is very effective in front of the goal, people. And then Bukayo Saka getting us the 2nd goal in that game. And I thought it was a very comfortable game. It really was. From my point of view, we couldn't control it, right? And we took the 3 points. That's what we wanted. And also on top of that, what we did was that we were coming from a draw from Chelsea. In the weekend we played against Chelsea, a game that made me feel what's the word I'm looking for, I was frustrated in that game. I really was frustrated with that game. Chelsea was playing with 10 men for about 60 to 65 minutes in that game, right? Caicedo getting that red card, he was sent off. That tackle he did to Mikel Merino stepped on his ankle, and the VAR told the referee he has to be sent off. That was a dangerous tackle on Mikel Merino. So therefore Chelsea was a 10 man. They really was with a 10 man. So And I thought we were going to pick them apart and take the 3 points. But Chelsea was so well organized, right? They were so well organized, and they're well drilled team, Chelsea. They really were. And they were parking the bus, and they were hitting us on the counter attack every time they got the opportunity. They really were doing that. So I feel frustrated, and for me it felt like a loss, that game. It really felt like a loss, but we got a one-word draw in that one. But however, let's have a look on the games that Aston Villa played. I mean, we're gonna have a look at their result, right? They did play a couple of games, and then we're gonna have the result. We're gonna have a look at their result. Let's have a look at their result. It is interesting because I think they are such a good team. They really are. And Unai Emery is a good manager, and he's doing what he does best, and he's winning games, people. He really is winning games. This is the games that Aston Villa has played. Against Brighton, like I said, it was 3-4 for Aston Villa. And then on the weekend they played against Wolverhampton, and they got 1-0 result there, right? And then they played in the European League. They won that one against the Young Boys, and that was 2-1 result there. And then before that, it was Leeds United in their home ground, and they managed to get a result there by winning 2-1. And the last one on the bottom is Bournemouth, and in Bournemouth game, that was a tricky game for them, but they managed to beat Bournemouth by 4-0, people. By 4-0. I mean, Bournemouth is not a bad team, people. They really are a good team. They really are a good team, and they do get results against certain teams. So I'm surprised by that result, and it just shows you that Aston Villa is a very good team. They really are such a good team. And now if you have a look on Arsenal, the games that we played, right? We played against Brentford on Wednesday evening, I should say, and we won that one 2-0. And then we played against Chelsea in the weekend, where we drew the game 1-1, 10-man Chelsea getting a draw out of that game, and that is a good result for Chelsea. You know, that is a good result for Chelsea, but for us it feels like a loss. It feels like a loss, people, right? And then we played against Bayern Munich in the Champions League before Chelsea, right? Yes, it was before Chelsea, yes. And then we won that one 3-1. And then the North London derby, it was 4-1. And then you remember that result with Sunderland, where we drew 2-2. That is currently the results that we have had, and that is the results that Aston Villa has had, right? That is what is going on. And a couple of things has happened in the Brentford game. In the Brentford thing, couple of things had happened just before Declan Rice was about to getting substituted, I should say. Before he was taken off, he went down holding his calf, right? And obviously he felt something, right? And he came off, and when he came off, he spoke to Sky Sport, and he said he was fine. He should be available for this Saturday's game, right? But another thing that happened was in the first half, that Mascara came off in that game, right? He felt something, whether it was a knee or whether it was an ankle. Arteta wasn't quite sure. He didn't give us an answer, but we're gonna go through Arteta's press conference as well and see where the boys are and what sort of ideas he may give us in for this Saturday's game against Aston Villa. Let's jump into the press conference. Let's do that, since we have kicked off the whole thing. This is the press conference, every word from Arteta's Aston Villa presser, right? And the first one they started with was Declan Rice availability, and he said, let's see. I think with all the questions I'm going to get, the answer unfortunately is gonna be the same. We have another training session in the afternoon. Every hour is going to be a very important to see the availability of the players. After that, we will decide which one, right? So basically the boys have to do a bit of a training, and then they have to see who is fit and who is not fit. On Mosquera's fitness, they asked him, that is the one that is more complicated, he said. But then again, we have another test today to see where we are with them. On William Saliba and Leandro Trossard being closed, it is a matter of days with those two for sure, he said. And then on if the quality of the football suffers in this schedule, basically the current schedule in this Premier League this season has been very tough, extremely tough, people, and obviously the boys are feeling it. And he said on that point, the only thing I can say is that whenever it is possible to help and give the players an extra day on hours to fulfill the maximum potential, let's do it. That's it. We are ready for tomorrow's game, that is for sure. And then he goes on facing Aston Villa. He said, for what they have been doing, the way they have been playing and winning matches, certainly it is a team that is in a great form, and we know that, he said. We know obviously the manager and the incredible job he has done there as well, so we know the task tomorrow, but we always take it as an opportunity. It is an opportunity. It is an opportunity because we're the ones that are gonna kick off the weekend's game. It is a 12:30 kickoff, and if we do get 3 points there, we are putting pressure on Man City, right? The gap between us and Man City is currently 5 points, people. So therefore, let's just win that game. It's going to be a tricky game. It's going to be a very difficult game, but we need to win it. We need to win it and put that pressure on Man City. And then the next question is on if Uni Emirate has an extra motivation facing Arsenal. I do not know, he said. I think when you look at Uni, his career, his motivation level, everywhere he has been, an impact that he's done, it's all been remarkable. So I do not know, that is a question for him, he said. But in my opinion, he never needs any extra. I think he's good enough himself, right? And I think Uni Emirate had something for Arsenal because he didn't like the way he got sacked and the time that he didn't get with Arsenal. That's what I think, basically. So Uni Emirate could have something for Arsenal, some sort of a grudge. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion. And then the next question is on if there is another statement match. On this, it says on if this is another statement match, right? I think it's going to be a statement match because Aston Villa is a good team, a team that we need to beat, right? I mean, we played against Liverpool, we played against Manchester United, we played against Man City, right? Newcastle, right? Those teams, Aston Villa is in amongst those teams, those heavy teams. So we need to make a statement against them. Seriously, what he said was basically, the answer he gave was consistency again, to perform at the highest level, win another game, and then we go back to the same question, to the Champions League, and then the next weekend, because that is the nature of the game, and that is exactly how we have to take in every game. That's the way it is. I mean, you play the game that is right in front of you, and you need to get a result and make sure that you go to the next game with 3 points in the bag, basically, right? And then on what does winning our match do to the other title rivals, right? Every time you win a game, obviously you are a bit little bit closer to your objective. He says it is the only thing that we can do. We have to focus on performing, right? Preparing really well for tomorrow. And we know the kind of game that we are going to play, and we are ready for it to fulfill it, our potential. That's what he said. On Mascaro's injury, what is it? He said it is an ankle injury. It is an ankle injury. Whether he will be ready for tomorrow's game, we don't know yet. They're gonna make a test. They're gonna see where he is. I mean, and it depends how bad the ankle injury is, basically. And let's see what sort of a starting lineup he will come with tomorrow. It's gonna be interesting. And I also want to know where Saliba and Trossard at. He said it's a matter of days. That doesn't give you really a better understanding, but I think Saliba should be all right. Trossard should be all right. I mean, they had a couple of days, right? They did not play the last 2 games, so let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. On Calafiore being on 4 yellows this season, and if it impacts his lineup or if it is an issue in a game. Both, he says, especially against Brentford, and especially with the situation that we had at the end of the game with the backline and the numbers that we have there. But Calafiore getting booked didn't happen, so good news. That's what he says. On Oli Watkins and his threat, I think the collective threat that they have in terms of how they generate chances and what they do so well, then obviously the quality that they have in front from different players. I mean, they do have a quality players, that's for sure. And they are getting goals from many areas in the game, right? They're getting goals from the midfield. They are getting goals from the defenders. So Aston Villa is doing a really good job, and they are chipping in. All the players are chipping in, and they are contributing to scoring goals. So they are going to be a dangerous team to play against tomorrow, seriously. And it is also in Villa Park, so they're going to be even more ready for this game, right? They do want to get a result against us. And on Aston Villa are a title challengers. Well, he said if they continue where they are already, so if they continue where they have been doing what they have been doing, I think he means, I think any club, any team in that position has a chance for sure. I mean, Aston Villa is in the 3rd place currently. They really are. It's only, I can't remember. It is a 5 points difference between us and Man City, and Aston Villa, between us and Aston Villa, I think it is 6 points, and between Man City and Aston Villa, it's just a 1 point. That's what I think, and they definitely could be in there. They definitely could be challenging for the title if they continue doing what they are doing, the way they are performing, the way they are picking apart teams. I mean, they could be a problem. They really could be a problem, seriously. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. On if the squad is the best place is been under him, right? Is his squad this season than compared to last season, seriously. And well, he said, we have built a squad that I believe was the best one to give us the possibility to do it. It is what I want it to be. No, because of the injuries that we have, he said, to have a squad means that the players have to be fit and available, because that has a lot of consequences, not only during the matches but also in the way that we prepare for the week and the options that we have to change and keep the present in the team. But certainly very happy with how we dealt with certain situations. I mean, it is absolutely good to have the squad that we currently have. The players that we brought in is doing a good job for us currently, and you're supposed to have a big team. You're supposed to have a big team in order for you to compete with the rest of the teams in the Premier League, the likes of Man City, the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, and so on. You need to have a big squad, and you need to do a lot of rotations and keep the team fresh, basically, right? And then it goes on if the team will drop out of competition because of the fixture schedule. Hopefully we don't get to that point, and everything is manageable. We all learn from it and we carry on in what we do. The schedule has been horrendous. Whoever made the schedule for this season is not an Arsenal fan. He's not a friend of Arsenal. That is for damn sure, people. Definitely. What they did with the schedule was crazy. That's, to me, it was crazy, right? On if Saliba and Trossard will be fit, the question was dated. So as I said before, after the training session, we will know more, right? And I think by this time Saliba and Trossard will be ready for tomorrow's game. Seriously, they are training with the team, and I think they're gonna play tomorrow. For Trossard, I'm not too sure, but for William Saliba, I think he will play tomorrow. On if Mikel Merino will be considered as a striker when all strikers are fit. This is a very interesting question. I think he has earned at least the thinking behind it with the way he's performing and the impact that he's bringing to the team. So that is yes. I mean, the way he is deadly in front of the goal, it is absolutely incredible what Mikel Merino is currently doing. The goals that he's getting, I think he is a very efficient in front of the goal. He really is, right? Not so much as a midfielder. I mean, he's doing his part for the team. He's scoring the goals that needs to be scored, and we are winning games, people. That's simple. On the next one, he said it is on if he is grown into the position. That is Mikel Merino still. Yeah. And then playing together, even with Victor, it can be with Gabby. And there are things that we have prepared during the summer because of the squad that we have, but so far we haven't been able to do it. So he's talking about the summertime and the trainings that they've been doing and all that stuff. And I think at one point we're gonna see two strikers on the field: Victor Gyökeres, maybe Mikel Merino together with Victor Gyökeres, or maybe Gabriel Jesus together with Victor Gyökeres and Kai Havertz when he comes back. I mean, two strikers up front, possibly 4-4-2 formation, something like that, right? And then the next question is on managing his players when rotating. We haven't had this situation too many times. I think the problem would be the other one, that you can bring somebody in and he doesn't perform, then the decision is so easy not to play him again. We are not in that position, which is the position that we want to be in. I can understand that. I mean, you want your players to be fit and ready, and then you can have that option who you're gonna bring on and so on. We are not in that position, which is the position that we want to be in, which is exactly that. We have people in contention, whether it is to start the game or to finish the game or to play whenever the team needs his quality. That is what we have at the moment with every player. I mean, there's a competition currently with the boys. There really are competition with the boys. I mean, you do have Bukayo Saka, Nuno Madueke, and Ethan Nuri competing with each other on that right side, and then you have Martinelli, Trossard, and then you can put in Ebriche Eze into the mix for that left wing, right? Competing with each other. And then in that midfield you have Subamende, Declan Rice, Christian Norgard, Iprigi Eze, Martin Erdegaard, all competing. Mikel Merino also as a midfielder, all competing with each other, right? So it's good. It is a good problem to have. I mean, you do want to have a fit squad, everybody fit and competing for the spots. Pretty much, that's straightforward. On the challenges of having everyone fit, I hope that we are in that in that position. Then again, we can maintain and decide for the freshness of the team that is required on that, what is required on that day, what is the best squad to take, and a problem that obviously a lot of clubs in this country are very familiar with. It is a good problem to have. It's not really a problem, it's a good choice to have when you have players fit coming in and performing for you, and they're basically competing for the spots. Basically straightforward, very straightforward. On if he's worried about Mosquera's fitness, no, we need to know, because the feeling that we had after the game and yesterday, we need to cooperate with the other testing that we do today. So Mosquera is going to be tested today as well. They're having a session later on in the day, and we're going to see where he is with his fitness, whether he will be able to play if Saliba is not ready for tomorrow, right? So that is on Mosquera. And then on if the injuries impact any January transfer dealings, Arteta can be a little bit cryptic when it comes to the January transfer, I feel, and he said we always have to be prepared. I mean, the moment that we have an option to touch the squad, to bring to the squad or to protect the squad, depending on what happens, I think we need to be open. For example, what's going to happen from here till windows is closed as well. It is football, so we don't know, he says, but we certainly going to be alert, and we know where the risks can come in terms of the squad, and be ready just in case we have to do something. So for me, I would say bring in a left winger. Seriously, we do need a left winger, better than Trossard, better than Martinelli, right? A proper left winger. And ideally, I would say bring in a backup for Declan Rice as that number 8, a quality number 8, because Mikel Merino, he can do a job, but he's not really effective as that number 8 now, is he? So that is the January transfer dealings. And then the next one is if anyone could leave in January. Well, at the moment, he said obviously we haven't had a situation, and as mentioned before, the players are out of the squad for 3 or 4 weeks in a row. At the moment, we know the squad that we have. We are full framing with the players that are fit. So at the moment, it's very clear that there's no option to do that. So maybe Gabriel Jesus is not going to leave in the January transfer, people. He may not leave. So I heard that there were some Brazilian teams in the Brazilian league that were after Gabriel Jesus, right? So the next one is on what's he learned from last season's injuries. Right, he said you certainly learn from those situations. I think looking for solution and being positive and transmitting that positivity, I should say, and belief to the team is the main thing, because you cannot do anything about it. We have injuries that is totally uncontrollable, especially the ones that were long-term last season. This season, a lot of other things happen as well. Learn from the things that we can control as well, the areas that we can improve. First of all, myself, and take it as it comes and enjoy the ride, right? And then on Martin Erdegaard, if Martin Erdegaard can't play every 3 days. I think he certainly is capable of doing that once the injury is resolved. You see the stats, what he did in the midweek after 6 weeks or 6 or 7 weeks out. It is incredible. He said, we just have another player, another top player that gives us a lot, give us something different to what we have in those positions. So I'm very happy with him. And then on the last question, on having more options as a manager, great, he says. I think it is something that I haven't experienced much, especially through a long period of time since I have been here. It is great. Before the game, it is great because you can think about different ways, different relationships. You can accommodate players for the game that you expect to play. And what is great is that when you look at the bench and you can say, now I can change the game. Or last year when we were in February or May, look there, we had 2 players really. So that is a huge difference. It really is a huge difference. I mean, he does have an option currently, and I really hope that we get to see all our players back and fit, right? So that he can have that problem of choosing the best team for every game that we are playing, right? So he said it is a couple of days for William Saliba for sure, right? And I think Saliba will be playing tomorrow. I really do think so, right? And then Trossard, I would stick Nuno Madueke on the left side. I mean, he was lively against Brentford. He really was lively against Brentford. So I would stick him there to the left side. If not, that's not the case, I would stick... he probably going to play Martin Odegaard. That's his favorite player, seriously, in Arsenal. That's his captain. So therefore, SCA needs to play in this game. I would stick SCA on the left side. I mean, Declan Rice needs to play. Zupermender needs to play. Martin Odegaard will play in that number 10 role, I think. And SCA will have to play on the left wing, people. SCA has to play on the left wing. That's what I think. A matter of fact, since I'm talking about that, let me give you my predicted starting 11, people. What I think Arteta will go with. And let's do this. Raya will be in goal. And then you will have right back Ben White, people. Ben White was very good against Brentford. He was in such a good form. The overlaps that he was doing, that interconnection with Nuno Madueke on the right side was spot on. Did you see that cross that he did? Nuno Madueke flicked the ball further on to Ben White, and Ben White just swished that one into Mikel Merino's head in the box, and Merino just couldn't help himself. He had that ball in, and we got our goal. 10 minutes into the Brentford game. So Ben White, I would start him, and the question will be Mosquera, whether he will be fit. I don't think he will be fit. I think it is going to be William Saliba that will play in this game. And then you have Hincapié next to William Saliba, and then Calafiore on the left of Hincapié. That is the back line, I think. If William Saliba is not fit, then it will have to be Jurriën Timber, people. Jurriën Timber. It has to be Jurriën Timber if that's what's going to happen. A lot of it, some people would say, why don't you play Jurriën Timber as a right back? Maybe Ben White cannot do another 90 minutes work again, because he did the 90 minutes against Brentford. So coming back from injury, that could be a little bit too much for the guy. But I think he can do it. I really do think he can do it. So I would play Ben White. I think he's such a quality player, Ben White, seriously. And then in that midfield, it will be Zupermender, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard, people. And Martin Odegaard, right? And then up front, it will be Bukayo Saka on the right. On the left, Eberechi Eze. Where are you? Eze. That is Eberechi Eze. And then now you have the choice between Victor Gyökeres or Mikel Merino, people. That is the choice that you have currently. I mean, it is a good choice to have in between them. And Mikel Merino is scoring goals, people. It is difficult to drop a guy who's scoring goals for you. Seriously. So I'm tempted basically to start Mikel Merino in the game. And then if it doesn't work out, bring in Victor Gyökeres in the second half. So that's what I'm going to do. That is what I think Arteta's going to do. He's going to start Raya in goal, Ben White as the right back, and then William Saliba next to Ben White, Hincapié, Calafiore. Those are the defenders. And in that midfield, it is Zuperman, Declan Rice, and Martin Ødegaard. Up front, Bukayo Saka on the right, Esse on the left, and Mikel Merino up front. Those are the players I think who's going to start against Aston Villa in a Villa Park. People, that's what I think. That is the starting 11. The next one I want to talk about, I'm going to wrap it up with this stream, is a little bit of news, people. Just a little bit of news. From AFC stuff. Some of them you may have heard already, but there are some other stuff in there. Here it is. Mikel Merino on mascara. That's the one that is more complicated. He said we already went through all this one in the press conference. The presser basically. All this we already said. We talked about all that stuff. This is interesting. Arsenal's record at the Emirates Stadium currently this season, people. Emirates Stadium is the fortress. Emirates Stadium is a fortress, I'd say to you guys. Look at these results. Leeds 5-1, 5-0. Nottingham Forest 3-0. Man City, we drew against them 1-1. Olympiacos 2-0. West Ham, we beat them 2-0. Atletico Madrid, we beat them 4-0. Crystal Palace 1-0. SC getting us that winner. Brighton, we beat them 2-0. Tottenham, we smashed them 4-1. Seriously, that's not a derby, people. That's just the noisy little irritating little brother who you kick about now and then. And then Bayern Munich, we smashed them 3-1. Brentford, we did them 2-0. The only thing they didn't actually put in there, no, that was in Chelsea's home ground. We played in Stamford Bridge. That's the reason why it's not in there. And the other thing is that we have signed, agreed to say, we have basically in principle agreed to sign the two youngsters, talents, they say, right? It is the two Ecuadorians. Yes, it is the two Ecuadorians. This is more. Arsenal has reached an agreement to sign twin brothers Edwin and Holger Quintero from the Valley, with the twins due to join the club in August 2027. People, welcome to Arsenal. I hope they are proper talented, right? I like when youngsters are talented and they get to develop in a big club like Arsenal. Hopefully they will be good players and develop into beautiful players, right? That is the twins basically. And then you have Mikel Arteta being nominated for the manager of the month. I mean, amongst those managers that was nominated was Unai Emery, Pep Guardiola, Hustler, what's his name? Let's have a quick. Maresca and Marco Silva. Those are the managers that was nominated. Sometimes I just cannot pronounce those names correctly. And then Declan Rice has been nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month for November 2025. People, that is basically the match preview and my predicted starting 11, and I think we're gonna beat them tomorrow. I really do think we're gonna beat them. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 2-1 game. They're gonna score a goal. Villa is very dangerous. They will get a goal. I think we're gonna score 2 goals. They will get 1 goal. So therefore, we will win the game by 2-1. Right. I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Right. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much, and have a nice one. Take care.